Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And today is the AMA that I was promising every week. I know I couldn't do a couple of shows this week. I was out and about running around at a couple of events here in Manhattan, and I was just unable to get back here to do this. So I apologize for those of you who might have been missing my, I don't know, my glorious jokes, whatever, my pretty face, whatever you might have been missing. All good. I apologize if you missed any of it. So I'm happy that you're with me this evening. And as always in AMA, I will take all your questions and comments as I always do. I want to add though, what I want to start. I would start with something just to kind of get the juices flowing, get us going. And the one thing I wanted to bring up is I was at an event, as I told you this week. And a couple things that I found were interesting. And I found people who were really angry that Trump was putting a bunch of people in his cabinet. They didn't like these people who were going to his cabinet, very upset. And they weren't saying things like, well, too bad we lost or something like that. They were like, this guy's a menace. This guy is terrible. This guy's horrible, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, why are you so mad? And one of the people he was mad at was the idea that RFK Jr. was going to be HHS secretary. And many people, this is one guy who was very upset. And other people are like, oh, how can you put Matt Gaetz? I mean, that's not a thing anymore. But anyway, that was a thing at the time, right? How can that be the case, right? How can this be the case? And I said, what you're missing is something important. People did know that this kind of thing was going to happen. Right? They kind of knew that there would be some people they may not like being appointed. They knew that Trump was a felon. They knew that RFK Jr. wants to trash a bunch of things. They knew that Elon Musk wanted to trash a bunch of things. They knew that was going to happen. And they still voted for him. Still did. And now many of those people who voted for him, they're not sorry. They're not, whoa, that's not, they're not doing, they're like, yeah, okay, go ahead. And the problem that we have is a lot of people are so upset and so bothered by our institutions that they're not afraid if they go away or are battered or hammered. And I think if that was 20 years ago, I think a lot of people would not have felt that way. But I think these past decades have made so many people think it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I think a lot of people feel that. But I won't just go institutions like the three-letter agencies like FDA, CDC, but I will go even further. A lot of people don't even trust our college institutions, don't trust our school institutions, don't trust many things. Think about it. There is a movement now to end the Department of Education. And a lot of people are like, okay. I mean, that would have been unheard of 20 years ago. I mean, they thought people were crazy. And people talked about it, thought they were crazy. No way, that could never happen. So many people don't believe in our institutions. Now, again, as a libertarian, part of me is like, yay. But as an American, I'm not like yay. Why? Two reasons. One, when Americans don't trust their institutions, that's not really good for our country in general, particularly when we don't have any community institutions or community groups to kind of fix the situation. I'm thinking about, we're talking about massive cuts. Okay, again, libertarian, love it. But then what is the answer behind that, right? How are people serviced or how are people helped if community isn't there to pick up the slack, right? I mean, people still need help. I get it. People need to be educated. Yes, right? This still has to happen. But the point is, okay, we're knocking down institutions. Not mad at that. But then where's the community support that picks up the slack when there are people who are in trouble? That piece is what I think is an issue that I'm concerned about. That makes any sense, right? So again, theoretically, knock them all down, right? Not theoretically. Okay, two parts. Knocking them down, okay, but the problem is now we don't trust anybody. So how do we trust the next person? Or how do we trust the state? Or how do we trust the city? Or how do we trust our community? So I think that is an issue, right? That we have to still somehow deal with in our society right now. Us just hating our institutions, not trusting them, is not a good thing. There has to be another piece to it somehow. There has to be some form of support structure. Otherwise, we just don't trust anybody. Now, there is one good thing. I think there's one good thing to this, that people are now thinking about that. They are now thinking about, hey, wait a minute. How do we set up this next thing to help and assist? How do we make that work where it wasn't working before? So that we do have some of that. But there's the next piece I want to bring up. A lot of people are angry about us not trusting our institutions and blaming us. Like, how can you not? They have done so many things to make us not trust them, number one. And number two, because of how the two-party system works, they make the only tool they allow us to have is a hammer. That's it. So, hammer is what we use. There's nothing else. Right? When we try, as a case of New York State, try to have citizen ballot initiatives, no. When we try to make shifts in the political party, I know I've tried myself, no. We are shut down by courts constantly. Shut them down. And the only answer is, oh, okay, we'll have to have a Trump-like figure come in with Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk and trash the place. That's all they gave us. When the Democrats tried to do it with Bernie Sanders, the Democrats said no. So you only give us a hammer to use, and you're shocked when we come up with a hammer. You only allowed a hammer. That's what gets used. That's what's getting used. I think that is a big problem, and we have to work on it. It's not a good thing, I don't think. Anyway, let me grab some comments and questions. I hope that gets us thinking. We'll move this. So, yes. Vivek, how are you? He says, no, they don't. Yes, I think Americans don't trust our institutions. Yes. You see it. And another example of this, Vivek, is our mainstream media. MSNBC, horrible. Horrible. They are falling apart. They are absolutely falling apart. And I think that, not that I, look, I don't really like MSNBC, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is they were, an important piece of American society, of American media. And now they are struggling. So I really think that's a big piece, right? Another part of our institutions are going away. They're trusting people like me and other people like that. It does matter. So yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Another one. If you do a Javier Milei thing, you can react to Lex Friedman clips. Okay. Should Elon buy MSNBC? Okay. Generally speaking, no. He should not buy MSNBC, only because what value could he get from it? How do you make that something, right? The problem with mainstream media is right now, let's make a massive change. And I think you could do it. Unless you make a massive change, it's a dying industry, right? They're okay because one of the reasons why they're spinning these things up, you may ask, right, what they're spinning things off, right? When you're spinning things off, you're doing it because you no longer want to hold them up. The glory of something like CNN, as an example, is that the people also own HBO. So HBO can make lots of money and kind of drag CNN along, right? MSNBC makes decent money with Peacock, decent money with NBC News. So they can, carry MSNBC along. But once you cut them off, there's no carrying anymore. That's why they're worried. And the model right now for MSNBC is stars get 7 figures a year. I'm not joking. They get millions of dollars a year. Why? Who's watching them? It's not worth it at all. It's utterly not worth it, right? No one cares. So it's not worth it. That model doesn't work anymore. So you would have to change the model completely. Not that Elon couldn't do it, but Elon's got 40,000 things on his plate. Let somebody else do that shit. Not him, Vivek. Let him go do something else. But could you fix it? You could. You make it more of a live model like what I do. You make it more back and forth with interesting people who got paid based upon how well they were, not how popular they think they are. These people are not as popular as they think they are. No one cares what Mika thinks, right, on MSNBC. No one cares. These people mean nothing. It doesn't matter what they think. Nobody cares what they think. Without MSNBC, these guys, they would starve. They would make no money. So yeah, absolutely. All right, let me see if I can go here. Joseph says, what's the average annual rainfall in the Amazon basin? Well, I guess I could Google it, but if I had to guess, it's got to be more than 8 feet a year. It's a rainforest. So I'm going to guess 9 feet a year, 8 feet a year. You can Google it, tell me if I'm right. Am I right, Joseph? It's got to be in that area. It's a rainforest, right? So it's got to be something like that. 8, 9 feet a year in that area, be my guess. So, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a desert is less than 10 inches in a year, if I'm not mistaken. And rainforest is over 6. But I think that's the definition, if I got it right. Rainforest is over 6 feet a year, and desert is less than 10 inches a year. I think that's correct. So I'm going to guess over 6 is a big one. So I'm going to guess 8, 9. That's my guess. Tell me if I'm right. So I hope I answered your question. I said AMA, so yes. There we go. Grab a couple more of these when I could. So thank you so much for being a member. When I come home at the end of the week, my wife greets me at the door. She says, when she opens the door, how come she's not in jail yet? Rand Paul. Yeah. I don't think that's ever going to happen, to be forward. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Yes. Thank you for being a member. Shelly says, Social Security is an institution. I think my question is fair game for the topic. Live probably doesn't know, but I bet he'll find out. Hold on. Is there something you did? Hold on. Let me find if I can go up here. Okay. Shelly says, I've worked since I was 12 years old, 15 years for the state, so I have a state pension. Now that I'm on Social Security, they're saying that I'm only getting 2/3 pay. Will I now be getting the last third, bring up the full Social Security rate? I wasn't aware that they have been taking a third away from me. Hold on. I've worked since I was 15. State pension. 2/3 pay. Oh, 2/3 pay of your state pension? Now then. Oh, yes. Many pensions do work that way, that you get your pension until you collect Social Security, and then they somehow cut it. It's probably in your fine print, to be forward. It's probably in your fine print. Pensions do sometimes work that way, right? You get a pension after X number of years working for whatever company. It's not based upon your age. Many pensions, not all, but some of you, I assume yours is that, right? But then once you get to full Social Security rate, which I think is 60, is it 67 now? 60 something, whatever it is. Some pensions go, oh, well, now you get Social Security, so you don't get your full pension. That does happen in some places. So it might be that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I probably still got one up too. You guys make me work tonight, huh? All right, I gotta work tonight. It's fine. It's fine. I work tonight. Maybe work tonight. Come back, and first you guys do is have me working. I see how you are. Super, thank you for the $5. Hi, Larry. I'm in New York City this weekend. Would it be possible to buy you a coffee and chat about libertarianism and how we could support us as a market right? Yes, and. Speaking of this Monday, for all of you who want to be members, I'm going to put out a post on YouTube that will go just to members. If you want to physically be on the show this Monday night, I will do either an 8 or 9 p.m. show, one of the two, 8 or 9 p.m. Either one, whatever works best for you guys. And I will bring on 3 members on the show panel, and we'll all talk. So yeah, Super Weapons, please DM me via Twitter is the easiest way to get a hold of me. DM me via Twitter. Missy monitors Twitter also. She will bug you or bug me so we can find some time to meet. Yes, 100%. So let's do that. By the way, guys, if you do want to support the show, I'm asking for something special today. Oh, Joseph says yes. Oh, was that right? I'm not sure if I was right on that one. Was that for me or someone else? I'm not really sure. We'll find out. Anyway, I'm asking for special today. I'm asking for something very special today. I know I always ask to click the like button. I always do. So please, as always, please click it if you want to. Absolutely love that. Please do so. And of course, share it as I always ask. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe if you have not. Thank you so much for the super chats and the memberships. Always. These are always things I appreciate. But today there's something special I want to bring up. Some of you know a friend of mine. His name is Maj Toure. Maj Toure is out of Philadelphia. Maj Toure has brought the libertarian message to the inner city better than anyone else I know. He has a thing called the Solutionary Center. The Solutionary Center in Philadelphia is a place where people, it's a real community center, where people can go to learn all types of things, to include firearms training, de-escalation training, things just like that. And I want you, if you don't mind, to for a second, watch this short video.
There's been an abundance of interesting things, to say the least, over the last couple of years, and I wouldn't change it. When we started with BGM, it was very important to make sure that we linked with people from different cities to make sure that the work got done of firearm safety and training. So we wanted to have Philadelphia be a flagship location where people can come, they know they can learn. We made this center. They want to use the space for free, they can. If someone wants to come learn that class, plumbing, lobotomy, whatever, they get to come take informative classes for free. Now let's show a social and cultural benefit, and then let's do that in a different city. So we used Philadelphia, which was the first Black Lives Matter location, and now the Solutionary Center, that's the HQ, and we would like to see those in all of these top 10 major cities. We've gotten people jobs, literally. People have hit us back and emailed that, I secured a job, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and it doesn't even have to just be employment. It's as simple as, hey, I want to take a yoga class. But that's what a community center is supposed to be. Fundraising has been, it's that last 30 minutes of the drive. This last $200,000 has been very, very difficult. Hey, we need 2,000 people, donate 100.
Which ain't much.
Now, the reality of that is he already has a matching donor, which is awesome. A donor who's going to match. So he only has to raise half of that. I am also going to help match myself also. So if you guys want to help out, then you can do a small favor. If you want to help out, head over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. It's right there. And here's the coolest part. If you put in the memo when you donate, Larry sent me, I will help match also. So not only will the other guy who's going to match a whole lot more money than I will, but I will match him too. And so will this guy. They will both match. If you can get him over the top, he will actually be able to buy the building and own the building that will sit in Philadelphia, bringing the libertarian views, the libertarian ideas of an actual community center. I talked about institutions that will support each other. This is one of them. This is one of those community centers that will support the community in Philadelphia. I'm talking the talk. I'm now walking the walk. If you guys can help, please help. Head over there. Click that givesendgo.com/solutionary. Put Larry sent me in the memo, and I will help match. So we will actually make this happen, something real in a community. We don't trust institutions. We will build our own. That's what we will do. And I will show you what this looks like so you can see in case you're saying, Larry, what does this look like? No, I got you covered. I got you covered. There it is right there. There it is right there. You see his numbers that I get to? He has a guy who will match half of that right there. If we push forward and help out, and I will match again. So we can move this forward, keep matching, help him out. I'm talking to talk. I'm going to walk the walk too. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, right? I'm asking you to help out if you would too. It would make things a whole lot better. If you don't mind, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I don't usually ask stuff like this. Today I am. Please help out if you can. I do appreciate it. All right, let me grab another one if I could. Peace, thank you for the $10. One problem with independent news, it doesn't have the money to send journalists on location. Much of what they do is review news. Will that change? Elon could fund. This is a valid point, right? In that case, why do you buy MSNBC though? Right? MSNBC has become exactly the same thing. They don't have really journalists. They have opinion heads, right? They use NBC News as their actual news. So while in theory, yes, but then buy NBC News then. Unless you're going to buy MSNBC News and then compete against NBC News, I guess you could do that. You are finding some people who do some actual stuff. And again, I go back to places like Rising or Breaking Points, who are more independent leaning type of newsrooms. Breaking Points has some actual reporters, not as many, obviously, but they also use a bunch of independent reporters as their sources, right? So they will find actual journalists and they'll bring them on and use them as, contributors and such. So they're kind of on that road. Obviously, Rising uses The Hill as theirs. MSNBC has to use NBC, if that makes sense, Peace. So they would actually have to, he have to buy both or create his own. And then why would you buy MSNBC then? The problem with MSNBC is now you have to rebrand it. I mean, what are you really getting, right? That's the problem. When you buy MSNBC, what do you get? You get a bunch of people who want a bunch of money who suck. So you got to fire all of them because they're useless, right? Why would you want, Morning Joe crew? They're a disaster. All of them need to be fired. They have no skill set, no logic, nothing. Fire them all, right? And everyone on MSNBC, the exception of Rachel Maddow, who would never stay with Elon. Rachel Maddow is talented. And I say it, I'm not trying to kiss her, but because she goes out on her own She left MSNBC, the story, to go do her own thing and was making money. And they said, wait, come back. We'll pay you the same salary for halftime. I'm not joking. We'll pay you. Just don't leave us. You're the only talent we got. Just don't leave. She said, oh, so I can still do my own thing and make my own money and then hang out here and come on when I want. And they're like, yes, just stay. And she said, okay, smart move. No one else on that station has any talent. So you got to fire all the rest of the talent. You have to hope that Rachel Maddow stays. She's not gonna. She doesn't need you. She can do it on her own. So you've bought no talent. Okay. So you bought, I guess, a bunch of people who, there's no reporters because they're all at NBC. You bought no reporters. So you bought a terrible brand. Why would you buy a terrible brand? I guess you bought some studios, but Elon can just build studios himself. There's no value in MSNBC. That's the problem. It's a garbage brand. There's no talent that would stay. I guess you got tech talent, perhaps. Maybe some tech talent, maybe some sales staff that can sell some ads. So you got some staff, I guess. You can just poach them for your own thing. Peace, you can start your own thing. Poach those guys because they're gonna quit. Poach the guys and gals who are talented in the tech field and the sales field. Poach them and you're good. There's no value to it. You'd have to rebrand the entire thing. I don't know, but then he did it for X, didn't he? He rebranded X. No, but X already had a ton of people that were watching. Does MSNBC have that many people who are watching? I mean, I don't know. It seems like a bad purchase, I guess is my point. But he could fund it, you're right. I don't know. The independent news piece you're talking about, though, people are doing it. Someone has to fund it. Elon could fund it. I do think, though, that MSNBC is not the right buy. My opinion. I wouldn't buy it if I was him. Let it die. Just reboot it. Just do a startup. Buy News Nation. News Nation has some talent. It's starting to have a name. It's got studios. Buy News Nation. Don't buy MSNBC. News Nation far more valuable than MSNBC. Far more valuable. MSNBC, no value. You got to fire everybody. They're all a bunch of, and the brand's broken. I would buy News Nation. Much better bet. If he's going to buy anybody, buy News Nation. So, all right. I hope I answered the question at least. Let me walk down some more of these roads, guys. I know some of you are giving me a bunch if I can. All righty. Oh, Andrew says, happy Friday, everyone. That's wonderful. Yes. Pete, you there? You showed up. Thank you. 36 trillion, 34 billion, 994 million, $586,981.97. And again, the only people talking about it right now is the man who they want to go buy MSNBC, Elon Musk. Kind of, and I guess kind of Vivek is also talking about it a little bit. He's also kind of talking about it. So I guess those two are talking about it. So yeah, there we go. All right. James Kenny says, I have certain rules to live by. My first rule, I don't believe anything the government tells me. George Carlin. Yeah, my point is the government always wrong? No. But should you assume they're wrong? Yes. Yeah, what did Reagan say? Trust but verify? I'm going to go, don't trust, just verify. Just verify. Sometimes the government will be right. I mean, sometimes just luck, but sometimes they'll be right. I would assume that they are wrong and say, okay, let me see if you are correct. Because sometimes they'll just be right. Sometimes. Andrea says, thoughts on shadow cabinet? Do you think it will have any power? Yes, of course. Of course. And the power will always be in money, right? You look right now and you see, Andrea, things like Matt Gaetz no longer being part of, the AG discussion, that kind of thing. That's obviously people going, okay, no, not him, right? Obviously saying, no, not him, right? Immediately, just no, not him. So they're fighting back and forth, and a lot of it's going to be cash. A lot of it is 100%. So of course they have some power, but will they have tons of power? No. Look, the country is shifting. If that makes any sense. It is shifting, right? Is it going to change overnight? No, it can't. There's still too much of the infrastructure there for the shift overnight, but it is shifting. Ray from nowhere says, thank you for the $2, my friend. Get the F out. Fluoride. The amount of people who are fighting over something like that's the thing that you're worried about, getting the F out, getting the fluoride. Like, you can't pull the fluoride out of water. Why is that the thing to die on? We have things like Flint, Michigan to worry about. And you're like, he's going to pull a Florida water. So what do you care? Brush your teeth with Florida. You like fluoride? Brush your teeth with it. It's like every other toothpaste has fluoride in it. I don't get it. If you like fluoride, I mean, I don't like fluoride. I literally filter all the water. I filter. I don't like. I'm not a fluoride guy. I filter all of my water so there's no fluoride in it, and that I drink. I mean, at my home, obviously, when I'm out, whatever happens, happens. And my toothpaste has no fluoride, and I don't have cavities. Of course, I don't eat any sugar, so it's kind of tough to have cavities when you don't eat sugar and are on keto. It's tough to get cavities, but I don't have the cavities, so I don't care about fluoride. Doesn't bother me at all. But anyway, I get people, you like fluoride. I'm not against you using fluoride if you think fluoride's good. You can get a fluoride rinse, right? You go to the dentist, give it a fluoride rinse if you want it, right? You can get that. Buy a toothpaste with fluoride in. If you like fluoride, enjoy your fluoride. But the bunch of people are like, oh my God, he's a mad. RFK is a madman. He's going to pull Florida water. That's the least of your issues. Who cares? You like fluoride? Yeah, it's fine. Go get some. It's all over the place. It's everywhere. You find it everywhere. No worries. It's crazy. So, yes. Pinkerbell is back. We were talking about you, Pinkerbell. We thought you don't love us anymore. I'm glad you have returned. I'm very glad you're back. Nice. So, yes, we're all there. Good. All righty. Shelly says, I have a friend who I haven't heard from since Trump was elected. She's in a psych ward. She had a heart attack. She cannot hear his name without going crazy. There are still so many people who are upset about this. And again, at that event, people who are very unhappy about the wars. They're unhappy. They think the wars are going to end and they want Ukraine war to keep going on. And they're very unhappy about Trump probably ending the Ukraine war. They are not happy. You are right. A lot of people they have not gone. They've not gotten over it. They haven't accepted it's done. They're very upset. Roy says, all that separates us from everyone and everything else are institutions. All that separates us from everyone and everything else is our institutions. Okay. Okay. I guess yes. But the problem is they can also separate us from our communities, right? So that too. And does an institution have to be a federal institution? And I guess my response to that would be, I guess my example to that would be, we really didn't have a national education system until around 1980 or so in that area. I mean, we had a department, but it really was just a repository for information. It didn't really do much. And people still were able, the states did a fine job relatively of educating our kids. Do we have to have federal courts for everything? Not necessarily. Depends on the situation, right? I mean, I think on institutions, do we have to have, colleges run by the federal government? Not required, right? I saw something on The View. I know, I punished myself, Roy, where one of the women, of course it was, I forgot the meanest of the racists there. I forgot her name. Oh, geez, whatever her name is. The meanest of the racist one. Her last name was an H. Anyway, that one. She was talking about how school vouchers are evil because the rich kids get the school vouchers. And then she goes in the same sentence to go, well, and these new private schools are bringing up these vouchers, these teachers, they don't even have degrees. They're not required to, blah, blah. I'm like, so the rich kids get better education from kids without a degree, because even the rich kids don't trust the institutions that put out teachers. Even the rich people don't trust them anymore. So even maybe local schooling is okay. So look, I'm not against institutions, but why do they have to only be government? Why do they have to only be federal? We have local too. I think it could still work. So I'm gonna grab a couple more of these super chats. Joseph says, thank you for the $5. The Russians are loading their ICBMs with extra fluoride. They want to make sure that the Ukrainians don't have cavities because they care. It's the love of the Russians. They care. Absolutely. Yes. No, this is scary too. This whole piece of where the war's escalating at the end is really scary, Joseph. And I know that was a joke, but this part's serious. The escalation that can happen. It reminds me, if any of you know the history of the end of World War I. The most recent incarnation of the movie All Quiet on the Western Front, which, by the way, was not a bad movie, but was not All Quiet on the Western Front. And I'm upset they even called it that. It had nothing to do with the goddamn book. But it wasn't a bad movie. But they should have called it something like Germans fighting World War I or whatever. Call it something else. They called it All Quiet on the Western Front when it was not that. So that annoyed me because I saw the All Quiet on the Western from the 30s and I saw the one from the 70s. I prefer the 70s one. That's my preference, but they're both good movies. But they were both great movies, and they were very close to the book. They weren't exact, but they were very close to the book. This movie was like, hey, there's a book? Yeah, what book? Threw it away. And then called it that. So, yes, but my point being, at the end of World War I, both sides were slaughtering each other, trying to gain as much ground as they could before the war would end, so they would be better off on, they thought, it was not true, but they thought, negotiating table. They were throwing the lives of thousands of men into the garbage on a war that was literally already over. So the war was going to end, for those who don't remember the story, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. That is where we get Veterans Day from, November 11th. That's where we get that from, right? So that was, they knew that, so they agreed to that. So you thought, okay, great, let's just sit around, the war's over, and wait. No, you know what I'm saying? Oh, George, I'm not joking. Both sides launched offensives. The war is over. They're launching offensives. Men are being slaughtered by machine guns, blown up by tanks, destroyed, blown up by grenades. Why? To see if we can get a couple extra, meters, a couple extra meters of ground for negotiating. Thousands of men died in these last couple of days for nothing. My worry, Joseph, is now doing it now too. They're worried that when Trump comes into office, he's going to have an answer and be like, we're done. It's over. We're done. I'm not funding anything anymore. The Europeans going to be like, we can't afford this anymore. Germans like, we're done. This war's over. So now they're fighting extra. And worst part is Biden's helping. That's the worst part. Biden knows this war could be over too. He's very much aware of that. And he's like, no, throw more at it now. Throw more at it now. Let's make it harder to stop. Throw more at it now. It's horrible. This should not be done. The war is going to end here, coming here very soon. We can see it. It can't. The only way it can keep going is if America and the Europeans throw everything they have into Ukraine. Now, could it happen? Of course, it's possible. I don't see it happening at all. I cannot see it happening. It seems crazy for that to happen. It really seems crazy. I do not see it happening at all. So it's over. Why are we dropping ICBMs? Why are we bombing into Russia? This is the end of World War I all over again. Lots of men losing their lives for nothing. Anyway, that's what you wanted to hear, Joseph. Sorry about that. Juan, thank you for the $10. I just donated to Solutionary. Thank you. Hope you promoted my new podcast, Libertarian Night. The latest episode is about the nap and how it's scored of viewers, Spotify, Amazon. Up there, yes, I know. I'm gonna promote. Tell me when you want me on. I'll come on and you come on and we'll make it happen. We'll talk about, of course, brother. Yes, 100% Juan. You got my number. Reach out. 100% we'll rock this. We'll rock this. Yes, yes, and yes, my friend. 100%. So I love Juan, by the way. Another New Yorker, who threw his hat into the ring and fought the good fight in the trenches, just like I did. Yes. Gene says, our institutions have, I think she means given us, more reason to trust them than distrust them than to trust them. Yes, particularly recently. Gene, particularly recently. I have watched them really begin to, and I guess here's the worst part, Gene. Why people hate the free market. But as long as there's not monopolies, when the free market screws up, at least they have to try to pretend like they care, or else people will ignore them. So they at least go, all right, let me try to fix something. They'll put some window dressing on or something. Our institutions go, you're stupid. We're right, you're stupid. We're not judging anything. That's what ours do. You're stupid, you're wrong, go away. That's what they do. It's terrible. Andrea says, I agree we don't have enough charities to get the slack. Yes, we have to. The problem is too many of our nonprofits rely upon government grants, Andrea. That's the problem. So what they wind up becoming is a lot of these nonprofits, they're not really charities. What they are is arms of the government that are not unionized. That's what they become. They become arms of the government that are not unionized, Why? Because they rely on government funds, which means all government strings attached, but their workers aren't unionized. So it's an easier way for the government to give money away to their friends and family, not unionized. That's what they become. So now what happens? Oh, I'm a nonprofit and I want to fix whatever, homeless people, whatever. That's my job. Great. So what do? I join the homeless industrial complex and I get grants from the government and I do what the government says and I service, I don't fix, I service the homeless people. I make sure they stay homeless, but I just service them so they don't die. And then I get money forever. That's what happens. Charities have to, here's the difference from a charity that has a donor base. If you have a donor base, you have to show results. If you don't have a donor base, you have to have a cool grant with a cool grant writer, which shows you keep servicing people, but no results. If any of you have been to a large nonprofit and they have a donor base, people give lots of money to, they have some type of gala or event every year or quarter or whatever, whoever they are, whatever time they have, what do they always show you? Results, right? Here's Bob. He used to have problem A. We fixed problem A. Bob is now great. Here's Jane. Jane used to have problem B, but our nonprofit fixes problem B. Look, now she doesn't have problem B anymore. And we go, oh, great, that's amazing. Let's give some more money because we're fixing problem A or problem B. What if it's government? They don't have that. They have grant writers who go, we'll service more people. You can check a box, give us more money. And it continues. It continues. It's why charities matter. And perfect timing, by the way, guys, if you want to do me a favor and help out with Maj Torres, I just brought it up. He actually has, this is an actual nonprofit, an actual charity in Philadelphia. And he is trying his best to bring an actual community center, Andrew, to your point, to support people who are in trouble. So if you can, head over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. Head on over there and put Larry sent me in the memo, if you don't mind. And I will help to match what you're giving. I will help to match. There it is right there. Head on over there. If you would, givesendgo.com/solutionary. Help him buy that building. Put Larry sent me in a memo, and I will help support it also. He already does. He has a matching donor that if he can get halfway there, he will take care of the other half. But he get halfway there, and he can buy that building. So yes, perfect timing for that. It's kind of working really well. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Another $5. Thank you for the super chat. I've heard that behind the scenes that Congress approved RFK, but it comes with stipulations that will cripple him. What tricks it up to? Yes. This part is something else they're dealing with, right? Now, Gates went in and they chatted with him, and they basically told him, okay, here's how we're going to rip you to pieces. You okay with this? He went, no, I am not okay with that, and I'm out. That's basically what he said. They said, you got to do this, 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 or we're going to do this, this, and this. And he went, I hate all of that. I'm out. That's what happened. He may tell you what everyone's telling you. That's what actually happened. Now, what happens to RFK Jr.? Same thing. They're going to be talking to him. They're probably talking to him right now, I would assume. Saying things like, okay, you can have fluoride. Can't have red 40. Sorry, you ain't getting that one. Or whatever. I made it up, right? But they're going to go back and forth on that piece too. And some of the people, there is no doubt that big ag, and big ag's the first one, not big pharma. Big ag's first. Big agriculture is going to be in going, and big food is going to be like, okay, I like you. Bobby Kennedy, you're a funny guy. But you know how much this cost me? This cost me X million, billion dollars, whatever it is. You come after that, we got a problem. And I'm going to throw all this money at this senator over here. He's going to lose his job. And the senator goes, I'm losing my seat. Okay, Bobby, you're not getting confirmed. You're not getting confirmed. I'm not voting for you. I'm losing my seat. How do we make it so I don't lose my seat and you get confirmed? What's the deals? So yes, they will have stipulations. I guarantee you. There'll be stipulations. Yes. Or he won't get confirmed. And I don't mean to be mean on that. I'm not trying to be mean, right? I would like him to go there and tear it apart. If it's up to me, peace, he tears it apart. Put a hammer, trash the whole damn thing. You know I'm okay with that. But the reality is they're going to have to fight back here or there. Otherwise, I don't. Unless, here is my hope. I don't have proof of this. My hope is they make some deals and they do it all in recess. And does not have to go in front of an actual, back and forth. And the problem is the Democrats, they won. As I mentioned earlier, the Democrats cannot wait. They're literally looking at their chops. They cannot wait to get RFK Jr. in a confirmation event in front of, I'm sorry, a hearing event. In a confirmation, it will be an event. I'm saying because it's going to be an event. It's going to be a circus. In the confirmation hearing, they cannot wait. They're going to raise so much money, calling him a menace, calling him a conspiracy theorist, calling him all the names, and raising so much money for those commercials. They cannot wait.